All right, I'm going to bring in all these differentiation rules, okay? So I went ahead and put up 2 examples on the board. I'm going to change this one to 3 though. Okay, so, by the way, you quite possibly will hear another class in session from next door bleeding into this room, okay? That's part of working in a small building, okay? So f prime of x, the derivative of this, will be 22. You bring the 22 to the front, following this rule here, and x will go down a power. So 21 plus 4. I will take the 16 to the front, I will have x to the 15th, go down a power, minus 45. You'll take the 2 to the front, and the power of x will go down 1. The derivative of something times x is just the something, and the derivative of the constant is 0. Okay? So f prime of x is 22x to the 21st plus 64x to the 15th minus 90x plus 91. Now this one, we're going to want to write this as more polynomial-like. So I'm writing this as f of x. This is 3x to the negative 22nd plus 15x to the 1/2. I think I'll make that the 14th root of x to the 10th. X to the 9th. And then this will become plus 4x to the 9 over 14th. Okay, so f prime of x will equal 3 times negative 22x to the negative 23rd. We're going down a power on the negative side, that means a lower number. Plus 15, x, and then the 1/2 will go to the front, and we'll have x to the 1/2 minus 1, plus 4 times 9/14 x to the 9/14 minus first power. Okay, now most of your calculators could do the legwork for you, but I'll go ahead and do it longhand. So this would be negative 66x to the negative 23rd. This would be 15 halves. You'll do 15 over 2. And then x to the 1/2 minus, well, I want 1, so the denominator is 2, so I do 2 halves. Plus, I cancel the 4 and the 14th, that leaves me 2 and 7. So 2 times 9 is 18. 7ths, x to the 9/14 minus, well, 1 would be 14/14 if we want a common denominator, which we do. Okay? That would be 7. So so I'll do this again. 2 times 9 is 18. Put it over the 7. And for my x's, I want a common power, so it'd be 9/14 minus, well, 1 common denominator, 14/14. Okay? So, darken it a little bit. All right, so, don't forget the 1. All right, so this would be, f prime of x would be negative 66x to the negative 23rd. Plus 15 halves, x to the negative 1/2. Plus 18 sevenths, x to the negative 5/14. You might also see it written like this. Negative 66 over x to the 23rd plus 15 over 2, where the square root of x would be in the denominator, because 1/2 power is, well, the 1/2 power would be the square root. And this would be 18 seventh, and I have x to the, see, it'd be the 14th root of x to the 5th down here. Again, your instructor your individual instructor may differ as to what they expect. Personally, I would take this, okay? But not everybody would take that, okay? So let me pause here and put more examples on the board. Okay, here's a couple more. All right, f prime of x here would be 101, and the derivative of e to the x is just e to the x. Okay, and then this would be 102. And the derivative of the natural log is 1 over x. So f prime of x equals 101 e to the x plus 102 over x. All right. Now for this one, we'll start by making this one u and this one v, because we have to follow the product rule here. Okay? So, f prime of x equals u prime v plus v prime u. So before we do that, u prime v plus v prime u. So here we're going to recognize what u prime is. It's 101 x to the 100th. And v prime is just e to the x. So I'll do that again. U prime equals 101 e to the, sorry, x to the 100th. The 101 would go out to the front, and the x would go down a power. And then v prime would be, well, the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. So this would be 101 x to the 100th times e to the x plus e to the x times, well, x to the 101st. Okay? And normally people would write that in a specific format, so with the e's and x's in a consistent format, so I suppose I'll do the same. 101 x to the 100th e to the x plus x to the 101st e to the x. And some people might factor this. Well, there's an e to the x common to both of them. Okay, there's an e to the x common to both of them. They also have an x in them. Lowest appearing power is 100. So x to the 100th e to the x, 101 plus, well, just x. So some people would expect that, okay? And other people would want it in another way it could be written as in descending order. X to the 100th e to the x, x plus 101. Again, all of these are f prime of x, and they all follow from the product rule. Okay, let me put up another example. Okay, we're going to, for this is example 5, we have f of x equals 15x minus 103 over 17x plus 86. We're going to need the quotient rule for this one. So this will take the role of u, this will take the role of v. U prime is the derivative of the top, which is just 15. V prime is the derivative of the bottom, which is 17. The most difficult part of most of these problems is the top, okay? Top, u prime v minus v prime u. Okay, I'm going to expand that a little bit, expand the space a little bit. V prime u. So u prime is 15, and b is 17x plus 86, minus v prime is 17, and we're going to do is u is 15x minus 103. So that is 255x plus 15 times 86, 1290, minus 255x plus 1751, which gives me 3041. Okay, so f prime of x is 3041, because notice these two cancel, over the denominator squared. That's it. Okay? So I'll stop here and put another example on the board. Okay, so here I have another one. Got another two actually. So these are going to be chain rule situations. So this represents my u. So u prime is 106 to the x to the 105th. All right? So f prime of, and so the derivative, let's see, let me see the best way, think and remember the best way to explain this. So if f of u, d dx of f of u equals f prime of u times u prime. All right, well the derivative of the natural log, because we're taking the natural log of u, the derivative of the natural log would be 1 over whatever the argument is. So that's what we're dealing with here. Okay, I'm going to take this down. Okay, I'll do all that over again. Okay, so if f of u, because that's what we have here, f of u equals the natural log of u. Okay, natural log of u. So f prime of u would therefore be 1 over u. Okay, times u prime, which is 1 over x to the 6th plus x to the 106th plus a ninth times 106 x to the 105th. So f prime of x is simply this times 1 over your original denominator. Okay? All right, and that is f prime of x. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to put the other example I had on mind. Well, what if I could remember it? Example 7. F of x equals e to the 104x plus 55th power. Well, f of u would be e to the u, where this represents my u. So u prime would just be 104. Okay, so d dx of f of u equals, according to chain rule, f prime of u times u prime. So in this case, the derivative of e to the x is e to the x, the derivative of e to the u would be e to the u times u prime. Well, e to the u would be e to the 104x plus 55th power times 104. So f prime of x is 104 e to the 104x plus 55th power. All right. Get that off the board. I'll put up an example 8. F of x equals 2x to the 101st power plus 175 to the 13th power. So we're going to follow a version of the chain rule called the general power rule. Okay, this comes from the chain rule. It's a subtype. So f prime of x equals, we're going to take the 13 to the front, and that'll be 2x to the 101st plus 175th power to 12 times derivative of inside. Okay, times the derivative of the inside, which would therefore make this 13 times 2x to the 101st power plus 175 times to the 12th power times 2 times 101 x to the 100th. Okay, that's the derivative of the inside. So this whole thing becomes 13 times 2 times 101. $26.26 x to the 100th times 2x to the 101st plus 175 to 12. Okay, and that's where all that comes from. So that's f prime of x. Example 9. I'm going to have to clear off the board to make room for an example 9. Okay, now this type of problem can be particularly nasty. You're going to need both this rule, the product rule obviously, because it's a product. You are also going to need the general power rule. Okay? So this takes the role of u. This takes the role of v, including the exponents. U prime, leave yourself plenty of room because these take a lot of space. U prime will be, under the general power rule, you'll take the 6 to the front, and you'll go down a power to the 5th. You also include the derivative of the inside. So that'd be 30x squared. So u prime is 180x squared times 10x cubed plus 7 to the 5th. V prime, I'm going to take the 8 to the front, and the power of x will go down 1. Okay? Make sure that's visible on camera. It is. And then you got to take the derivative of the inside as well. So v prime is 88 times 11x minus 4 to the 7th. So you got to be careful about this. So we're going to be following the product rule here. U prime v plus v prime u. And I'm going to be using a lot of space for this because these aren't short. So u prime is 180 x squared times 10x cubed plus 7 to the 5th. That's just u prime. Don't forget v. 11x minus 4 to the 8th. For clarity's sake, I'm going to move things. Plus v prime u. b prime is 88 times 11x minus 4 to the 7th, and u is 10x cubed plus 7 to the 6th. Okay? I'm going to make this 88 look a little bit more visible. All right, so this is f prime of x, and it's in one form, okay? A lot of people would make u factor, so we'll go ahead and do that step as well. I will let this be u, just this. I'll let this be v for the second part. Or how about just to avoid confusion, I'll let this be a. I'll let this be b. I'll let this be a. I'll let this be b. Okay, I suppose that would make this a little bit easier to factor. All right, so this will be, and we will avoid confusion with the u's and v's up here. So 180 x squared, a to the 5th, b to the 8th, plus 88, got them mixed up. This is b, this is a. Got to pay attention to those sorts of things. 88, b to the 7th, a to the 6th. All right, well, these two are both divisible by 4. They both have a's in them. They both have b's in them. So the lowest appearing power of the a is a to the 5th. The power of b is 7. Okay? So this will be 45. The a's would cancel, this would just be b, plus 22. The b's would cancel, we just be left with a to the 1st. So, I probably should have left the space, plus 22, and the a is the only thing that's left. So I'll go ahead and put things back. 4a to the 5th, b to the 7th, 45, b is 11x minus 4, plus 22, a is 10x cubed plus 7. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and do just this one. So 45 times 11, 495. Minus 180 plus 220x cubed plus 154. All right. So f prime of x equals 4. A is 10x cubed plus 7 to the 5th, 11x minus 4 to the 7th, and then I'm going to simplify this. 220x cubed plus 495x minus 26. All right, I think that's enough damage. And by the way, that's the derivative of x.